In this self-nip doo. So with this screen recorder, what I'm going to do now is I'm going to attempt to steer this random number generator to either do more ones or more zeros. And so what I'm going to do actually right now is I'm going to flip a coin to decide whether I'm going to do more ones or more zeros. So right now I have no determinism about whether there's going to be more ones or more zeros. So I'm going to flip this coin. And it's tails. So for me, tails is going to be a 0. Heads would be a 1. Tails would be a 0. So right now I'm going to attempt to see if I can get this random number generator to push out more zeros than ones. And the first trial I'm going to do now is going to be for only 10 trials. So here we go. We're going to do 10, and I'm going to attempt to get 0. So let me first just meditate a little bit here. I'm breathing to calm myself, but not really to calm, but to center myself a little bit and to help myself get in my mind a little bit more. And I'm wanting to visualize the symbol, the numeral for 0. I'm going to do 10 trials here. So here we go. We're going for 0. 0. No angles. 0. Okay, here we go. Here's the first one. That's a 0. Remember, we're doing 10. 0. We're going for 3. Here we go. 0. Going for 4. Here we go. 0. 0. We're going for 0. 0. More zeros than ones. More zeros than 1 0. More zeros than ones. More zeros than 1 0. More zeros than ones. More zeros than 1 0. More zeros than ones. More zeros than 1 0. More zeros than ones. More zeros than ones. 0. More zeros than ones. More zeros than ones. 0. Okay, I think that was 10. I got caught up in my mind a little bit. I'm going to have to start writing on a piece of paper, like ticking off a box for each try. But let's take a look and see what we got here. How many? Wait a minute. So let me take a look. Oops. I'm knocking this thing around a little bit, but what I really want to see is on the screen is, oh, there we go. Okay, so let's see how many trials I did. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16? That can't be possible. I did 16 just now. Anyway, let's look at how many ones we have. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Wait, I'm sorry. This can't possibly be it, because it started off with a couple of zeros in a row. Like, what is going? Oh, here we go. Let's start from here at the bottom. It was 0, 0, 0. Okay, so 1, 2, 3. yeah, there's 4 zeros in a row. I remember that. Okay, and then 4 ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. All right. So out of those first 10 that I did, there were 6 zeros and 4 ones, and then the next ones kept on going on. It was 1 0 1 0 1, and so that made it 8 zeros, and then 7 ones. So it's still more zeros than ones, regardless, although I went over my trials. Okay, so I'm going to clear this. Okay, and dismiss. Alright, so that was my first trial to see if I could steer a random number generator to give me more zeros than ones. Is that luck? You tell me. So, I mean, that was a very crude replication of a random number generator experiment that I know about from the Institute of Noetic Sciences, for example, is one of them, and has been replicated by many different laboratories. But this is just using an app on my phone and just screen capturing so I can do it live. So I'm going to stop this video now, and I'm going to publish these results. And that was, I think that was 16. The video will tell me, but I'll publish that. And I think that's very interesting, just that little thing right there that shows that at least I know it's just one trial, right? Or one experiment. But I got the result that I was looking for. So, or the result that I flipped a coin and was looking for, and let that decide whether or not I was going to focus on ones or zeros. And I flipped a dime that I have here. Let me see, what's this dime here? This is this is an American dime. It's 2002. It's just a regular old 2002 dime. And and that's what I used to decide whether what result I was going to get from this random number generator. So I'm going to repeat this trial and see what happens. So I'm going to end this right now and then publish this video. All right. This light. Hold on. Okay, so all of what I'm doing right now is about developing telekinesis or developing telekinetic abilities. To me, there's no question that telekinetic abilities exist. The problem is that these type of abilities are questioned so often, so regularly in life, that people are always doubting themselves about whether or not their consciousness, their minds, can affect matter or even have any significance at all. And that's a problem. So I just did a bunch of crude experiments that I had learned from somewhere before. For many years I've been watching people talk about consciousness and the interactions with quantum mechanics and different things like this. And, for example, 2006 was the movie The Secret, and they had a bunch of physicists and other people there. And then another one I saw was called What the Bleep Do We Know? That was more convincing, but one of the things about the movie What the Bleep Do We Know was the featuring of the Institute of Noetic Sciences. And I would later only learn this year in 2021, and I saw What the Bleep Do We Know when it first came out. It must have been 2006, 2007, somewhere around there, but it was a long time ago. It's 2021 now, so that's, 2006 must have been 15 years ago when I first saw it. And so these are my observations. These are the things that I saw. And so my question is, can my mind affect matter? Is there really a thing such as mind over matter? And to me, the answer was already yes. Mind affects matter. And in these movies, like What the Bleep Do We Know, these people keep talking about and trying to convince us that, and showing us an experience, in experiments, that it can happen. But it wasn't until 2020 when I saw the video from Dean Radin, who's the head researcher at the Institute of Noetic Sciences, which, like I said, was featured in the movie What the Bleep Do We Know. When it wasn't until I saw the video on YouTube that was called New Experiments Show Consciousness Affects Matter did I realize how profound and how genius his experiments were. Basically, the experiments that he's done and many other laboratories have done has shown that consciousness affects matter, and in this one very specific way, by using something called a random number generator, a computer-based, a software-based system that is supposed to be like a digital coin toss. So if you flip a coin, you either get heads, right? Or you get tails, the other side. This is a coin from Taiwan, where I've visited many times. And heads, to me, I determine will be a 1, and tails I determine would be a 0. And it's binary, right? 1 and 0, just like computer code, binary code, 1 or 0. And anyway, it has been reported in these experiments that consciousness has in fact been able to what is called steer the results, to steer the outcomes of these random number generators to either produce and display more 1s or more 0s, depending on a predetermined prediction. So if the coin flips to heads in my experiments, I say that's going to be a 1, and I'm going to focus in my imagination and in other ways to get more 1s than 0s. If it flips to tails, then I'm going to focus in my imagination to get more 0s than 1s. And that's basically what these experiments have done. That's basically it. There's a lot of other things they did for to set up the experiments, but that's it. All they were attempting to do was to see if by meditating and thinking about it and imagining either a 0 or a 1, will they be able to get more 0s or 1s depending on what they were focusing on. And the experiments have conclusively shown that yes, in fact, you can get the result that you want by thinking about what you want, especially with random number generators that are set to either put out a 1 or a 0. And so, again, those were my observations, and my question is, can I do that? And I felt like I could. So, what I did was I decided then that I'm going to make a prediction. That I, too, by using a random number generator, even at home, can cause a computer system to produce and display more 1s than 0s when I ask it to give me more 1s than 0s, or more 0s than 1s when I ask it to give me more 0s than 1s. And so I decided to set up an experiment to do so. So here's what I did. My methods were that I downloaded an app, which is a random number generator, called Random Number Generator Plus. And I paid on my Google App Store for the Pro version so that I got no ads or no other interruptions. I also paid for the Pro version of this video software that you're looking at right now that I'm making this video with, which is a screen capture software. And it's a screen capture software. I also paid for the Pro version so that I would not get any interruptions. All right. And then I used a coin that I got from when I was in Taiwan, a 50 UN coin, and that's what I set up. I would flip that coin to determine if I got a heads, I would try to focus on more 1s. If I got a tails, I would try to focus on more 0s. And then I would use the random number generator and simply press the blue icon on the screen that said generate, and it would give me a 1 or a 0. And the other thing I did was I kept track of it with a piece of paper on a clipboard with a notebook and a pen, so I could count it, so I wouldn't lose track of what I was doing. The first experiments were kind of sloppy when I first started, but I streamlined it as I went along, and that's what this is all about. And the device I'm using is a Galaxy S7 that I bought back in 2016. Both of them actually, because then one of the things that I eventually did was to help myself focus, was I put my voice on repeat, hearing myself say 0000 or 1111, and that was to help me focus. For example, and I put it on loop.
1, 1, 1, number 1, number 1, number 1, number 1.
Or
1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1, 1.
Or
0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0, 0.
so I put the headphones on eventually and started listening. Now some very interesting things happened because of this. When I first started the experiment and I didn't have a visual cue, because I don't know if I showed you this, maybe I did, again I'm very scatterbrained, but I wrote a 1 and I wrote a 0 on pieces of an index card. And that's what I did before I actually recorded myself on loop doing the audio. So in the first 5 tests that I did, I got a pass means that I got more of what I wanted to than what I didn't want to. So in the first test, I wanted to get more 0s than 1s, and sure enough, I did. In the second test, I wanted to get more 1s than 0s, and I didn't. So that was called a fail. So in the first 5 tests, it went like this: pass, fail, pass, right? But then, right after that, and you can look at all the videos on YouTube, when I started using visual cues, I got 2 passes in a row and then a fail. And then, when I finally added the audio along with the visual cues of me looking at the numeral 1 or the numeral 0, I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 passes in a row where I influenced the random number generator to give me the result that I wanted. And so, basically what I found, I started the beginning of how to develop telekinetic abilities. And it might not seem like much, but okay, let's start again. I saw that other people were claiming to and doing experiments that said that our minds, which most of us think is invisible and non-material, can affect the hard stuff, the matter, knock, 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 right? And so I thought to myself, well, I have a mind and I'm conscious too, so can I do that? My answer was yes, I can do that. So then I decided to say that I'm going to do that, and how am I going to prove it? Well, I just used the same idea that was used from the Institute of Noetic Sciences and many other places that have conducted these experiments, and I decided that I'm going to be able to influence a digital software-based system, a random number generator, to give me more 1s or more 0s, because that's the way I set it, to either give a 1 or a 0. And sure enough, that's what I set out to do, and that's what I did. Here are what my results were, very briefly. And let me take a look at the time here, because I'm going to make this, it's only 11 minutes, and then we're going to sign off, and I'll post these results again, but they're already on Facebook. But here's what happened. Here's what the results actually were. In the end, I had 10 passes, what I call 10 telekinetic passes, and only 5 fails. And 7 of those 10 telekinetic passes were after I combined both a visual cue of writing the numeral 1 or 0 on an index card, and also listening to my own voice saying 1 or 0 over and over again while looking at the corresponding 1 or 0 on those index cards. And I did other things too, like
for example, the coin would be facing heads up if it was representing 1 and to the right of the 1 on the index card. And when it was tails facing up, it was to the left of the 0 on the index card. And all these things indicated to me 1 or 0. And so I had all this focus. And when I got more focus, 7 in a row. I mean, incredible. And we can look back at the videos that I made and indeed confirm that that's what happened. That when I became more coherent, when I became more organized in my thought and how to focus and concentrate, the results of the random number generators corresponded with that. And again, the experiments were very poorly designed. It was haphazard at first. I was just having fun. It was just like a drunken experiment to have fun and just to get it started, because I knew that once I got it started, then what has happened now has happened. I've basically now, because of doing that, I came up with a well-designed scientific experiment that anybody can do at home, which is using a random number generator and using your mind to influence it. And so what do you need to do this experiment at home? Well, you need a coin of any time. It does not need to be one from Taiwan. Heads or tails? Head should be 1, tails should be 0. And there it goes. You should also write on a piece of paper the numeral 0 and the numeral 1 so that you can look at it. You should also record your voice and put it on loop in your device. I'm using a Samsung Galaxy S7 phone so that you can hear yourself saying either the numeral 1 or the numeral 0, just like this.
1, 1, 1, 1.
Or saying 0.
0, 0, 0, 0.
And those things combine together, and then you just simply press the icon on the random number generator and see what it gives you. Now, what I did was I did 15 trials. And a trial meant that I did a certain amount of tests. And I did 15 tests in each trial. And a test for me was simply a flipping of the digital coin by pressing that icon that said generate, so that the computer system, the software on my mobile device from Random Number Generator Plus would either give me a 1 or a 0. And I did that 15 times, and I wrote down the results of that. I recorded the results of that. And 15 tests equaled 1 trial. And I did each trial 15 times, and that was kind of arbitrarily just based on the fact that I intended only to do 10 for the first one, but ended up doing 15 somehow because I got lost. Anyway, that's it. I'm going to write more down about how to design this type of scientific experiment, which is really easy to do at home. But just the fact that the first time out, and with the corresponding results that happen with being able to focus more by visualizing and hearing, and having such a coherent result of having 7 passes in a row, that's what's known as a significant result. That's significant. So I've had a significant result. Some amazing things happen, and I may even eventually feature this beautiful green and red timer in my future experiments. I don't know how it's going to help, but if it can, it will. But if not, it's just overly complicated. But I wanted to have it in this video because it's pretty, and I use it for my 5-minute rounds of kickboxing when I train at the gym. But anyway, that's it. This is some of the components of my scientific experiment of developing telekinetic abilities, and there's a lot more to that because I'm going to eventually learn what is going on here and how to start to move larger physical objects. Also using 1s and 0s. And just like exercising your body, we have to exercise our minds. And so that's what I'm going for with this development of telekinetic abilities. So signing off now, and we need to proceed forward and see what we can do with the development of telekinetic abilities. So, catch you on the next wave. See you next time. We're going to see what we can do with all of this. Take care.
I don't know if this app is going to record everything on the screen. If it's going to be horizontal or... No, wait, that was wrong. Horizontal or vertical, but... God, I'm retarded. But I am going to change the screen to my random number generator and try to replicate an experiment that I just did like an hour or so ago. And what I'm going to use is this coin right here. Where's the camera? This fucking thing is new to me. Oh, there we go. And this is a 50 yuan coin from Taiwan. I've been to Taiwan so many times I just don't even know. And I'm going to use this, see these two sides, to determine beforehand whether or not I'm going to try to make a random number generator give me more heads or more tails. So if it gives me heads, the head is going if I get more, if I flip the coin and it lands on heads, it's going to mean 1, like, and so I'm just going to use a binary system. And if it lands on this side, which is, what does this even say? Oh, it has the number, the quantity of how much it is. It's 50. So, but if it lands on that side, that's going to mean 0. Just also because, look at that, it's a big circle, all right? So we're going to just call that a 0. And is there anything else I need for this? Oh, yes, a piece of paper, because the last trial I did, I went to 15. So this one I'm also going to go to 15. The last one I did, the coin flip told me to have more zeros than ones, and it came to more zeros than ones. If I would have only went to 10, which was my initial intention, then I would have had 6 zeros to 4 ones, which is 60% influence. However, I went 5 more over, and I got 8 zeros and 7 ones, which is still more zeros than ones, which was the intention of after flipping the coin that I did. But the first coin I flipped was a dime, an American dime, but from now on I'm going to use this brass colored Taiwanese 50 yuan coin. And I'm going to use that in this one. So what's the point of this, right? The point is, can mind influence matter? Can I cause an electronic system, at least, this random number generator app that I'm going to put on the screen in a moment, can I cause it or can I steer it to more ones or more zeros depending on what I initially decide? So I'm going to see, where's my water? Should have some water here. Oh, there we go. All right. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. So first, here's the coin. Gosh, I'm still not using this camera. I will not be a good alien spaceship pilot if I can't figure out the way these directions work. A lot of people who play video games can figure out this out where the camera... Okay, wait, what? What? All right, wait a minute. Now I'm confused. Wait, up is down, down is... Okay. All right, so I'm going to flip it. And like I said, if it lands here, we see the circle, that's going to mean 0. And if it lands here on the heads, it's going to mean 1. And that's what I'm going to attempt to steer the random number generator to give me more of. So here we go. And it landed on heads, which means 1. So now I'm going to attempt to consciously steer the random number generator to more ones than zeros. And I'm going to get my notepad out here so I can keep track of this. And I'm going to do actually 15 trials. 15 is an uneven number, so we'll just call number 15 is going to be the tiebreaker if you know, it happens to be you know, tied. Like if there's like a 7 to 7 on this random number generator. So let me go here. How much time so far have I used in this clip? 5 minutes, okay. So now we're going to see where, no, I don't want to do that. I want to go to the random number, there we go, there's the random number generator, okay. Move my screen over here. Hey, it looks like you're a frequent user of random number generator. If you have a couple seconds, please rate. Yeah, I mean, I will, but not now. I paid for the thing, and I just want to do my random number generation. So as you can see, I guess I'll put this here. Man, I hope this didn't, I'm not going to worry about that right now. We're just going to do the experiment. Okay, so it said, because it landed on heads, right, that we're going to do more ones than zeros. So what I'm going to do is just kind of center and focus my attention a little bit. And I'm focusing on ones. I'm even going to draw myself, I'm going to draw myself a number 1. For one angle. One angle, number 1. We're going to get this random number generator to give us more ones than zeros. So 1. Okay, here we go. Let's see what happens on the screen. Oops. Gotta hit the... There we go. The first one is 1. Okay, here we go. More ones than zeros. Oh, gotta do my trial of 1, 0. More ones than zeros. More ones than zeros. More ones than zeros. One. 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 I have 5 more. Test. 1. One. 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 Okay, and I believe that's the end of the trial. There's 15. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. Okay, so I'm going to count the ones right now as I scratch them off on my list right here. So we'll see. And then, of course, there's video. So we'll see what it is. So ones, we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Looks like the zeros may have beaten us. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Sorry, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So there are only 7 ones and there are 8 zeros. Yeah, that's actually very clear here. So 7 equals 1, 8 equals 0. So according to the consciousness experiment so far, influencing the matter, this was a failure. So now we're tied 1 and 1, because the first one I did was a pass, and then I got more zeros than ones, and this one was a failure, and where I wanted to get more ones than zeros, but I actually got more zeros than ones. Again, actually, the exact same ratio as the previous trial. Does this software have an embedded algorithm? Is there something wrong with the software? I don't know. We're going to see, because what I'm going to do now are 8 more trials using 15 using, I guess we can call them, they're coin flips, but using 15 tests to see what comes out of that. And I'm gonna, yeah, there's something else I have to finish doing here though. So that's it with the random number generator for trial number 2. So the second trial. You know what? For some reason, doing these trials makes me feel like, was it Robert Neville, who Will Smith played in? Oh my gosh, I really like that movie, and I am not remembering the name at the moment. I am, no, is it not I Am Omega? You know what, we're done. I need to stop drinking water. I Am Legend is the name of the movie. Anyway, if only I could be that great of a scientist. Okay, so I'm going to conclude this. I'm going to publish this video, and then I'm going to conclude 8 more trials. I'm going to do 10 altogether. Maybe I should do 15 to match 15 times 15, right? We'll see. Maybe I'll stop at 10. Maybe I'll do 15. Tiebreaker, right? Yeah, that seems appropriate. Oh, that's going to take a lot of time, but I got to do it anyway. So, okay. Here we go. I'm going to see how this video comes out, because then I may have to adjust something in order to get the horizontal screen, because that works better for most social publications. So we'll see. All right. That was it. Trial number 2 with the random number generator. What did I call the first trial? It's influencing things with our thoughts. Yeah, influencing things with our thoughts. And I call the first one Influencing Things with Our Thoughts, a very crude trial using a random number generator app. So let's see what happens. I'm going to get myself a lot more coherent with the next 8 to 13 trials. And that's going to be something that I have to standardize for these experiments, because I'm going to do a lot more of them. There has to be standardization, like I have to regulate how much water I drink, and I'm always going to do them in this space. So, which is a very interesting space, by the way. I got the Statue of Liberty over here. And there's a very cool picture that I have of me and Floor. And if you guys don't know who Floor is, you will soon know. But she's sleeping and I'm in front of there. So beautiful when she was sleeping. Always so beautiful. She was just always so beautiful. But that Statue of Liberty. Anyway, and then this little, I don't know what that picture of ocean waves. Not, I didn't put it there, but I'm going to leave it there. Anyway, we're off topic. How many minutes do we have here? Let's see. Oh, yeah, 14 minutes. This is great. It's under 15. So I'm going to end this now, and I'm going to start setting up and doing more trials and see if I can make the videos everything standard as much as I possibly can. All right. Hakeem Ali Bokus Alexander out.